Welcome to Meanwhile at the Castle podcast. I'm Queen Emily.
I'm Queen Deborah.
And we are queens of our castles, keeping the domestic arts alive. Today is Monday, January 20th, 2020. Yay. Feels like sci-fi to even be able to say that it's 2020. Anyway, and we're going to be podcasting today about mostly some knitting. We've got some sewing. What do we have? Fun stuff.
Yes,
lots of
I
fun
have some
stuff.
sewing today.
Yep. So, but first, life update. Why don't you start? What's up with life?
Well, first of all, it's episode 50.
It is. It's
50?
episode 50.
The big 50. Yes.
That's crazy. I just don't.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a little while, and we average a podcast every month and like a week or a month and 2 weeks, something like that. So,
yeah.
you know.
So we've been doing it for longer than it might sound.
The
fact that it's episode
50.
Yeah.
Yep, I celebrated my 21st wedding anniversary this last week, and we celebrated by having procedures on my husband's legs for his veins.
So romantic.
I know, we like to be romantic like that. I think it is good though.
Wonderful.
My husband doesn't take care of himself. I don't know if you're married to a man like this, or you are a man like this, where you don't take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself. It's important. It is important. So, he's back to work today. That's good. That's good.
Good for him and for you.
Yes. So, I'm
good.
trying to think.
You redid your basement.
We did my basement. I think
Yeah.
I talked about that. I don't know.
It's been before
such
Christmas.
a muddle in my head.
It's been since before Christmas since we
yeah.
did record.
We did carpet and painting, and I got new bookcases. I cleared out a whole bunch of stuff. It's painful sometimes. It's like sawing off an arm to get rid of so many books. There's a little hole in my heart here.
That is hard.
But it's okay.
The funny thing is that they're probably not books that were like your favorites.
No,
that's
that's
you
why
wouldn't have gotten rid of them. So
yeah. So instead, I made room for new favorites.
You created a vacuum that will be filled.
Don't worry, I've already been working on that. I don't need to work on it though. I don't need to work on it. I have books. Okay.
That's awesome.
And it's my birthday coming up.
I know.
And I know that there's been a lot of things that I've been doing. I just can't think of any of them. But that's it. There you go. Life update. What about you?
Oh, things have been good. We had such a nice Christmas. It was a nice and kind of low-key Christmas once we actually got to the week of Christmas, you know. Mm-hmm. And that was really lovely. And so when New Year's came, I felt like it had a break and I'm ready to dive in and just go for it. So my life news, a lot of it revolves around the fact that my shop is reopened. And I'll talk more about that at the end. We'll do shop news at the end. But that has been a huge project, as you very much know, to get that all ready. New site and everything. Anyway.
Yeah, that in and of itself.
It was
a big job.
It was a big job, but I'm so happy with it. So, and today I updated our little sign that we have on our piano that I update with how many days until our daughter Aria comes home. And today it's 149. We're under 150 days.
Yay!
So that is awesome. Less than 5 months till she comes home. And she's been gone since November of 2018. It's crazy. So
it's coming up.
It's going to be wonderful. So yeah, things are good. We're working on our homeschool. We're doing our church stuff, and just life is good. But I've been reading a ton lately. Like I go through these cycles like we all do, where I read a lot or I listen to a lot of books on Audible, or through the library, you know, different audiobooks. And I'm still doing that, but I have just been so loving reading paper books and reading like crazy. So I think I've finished 5 books already this year, and I'm working on 3. I'm in the middle of 3 more. So that's been really nice. That makes me happy.
Yeah, I like on Goodreads that you can track your reading.
Yeah.
You can set a goal for how many books you want to read and track which ones you're reading, when you start, when you end. It'll give you updates on it. I always liked that.
Yeah.
But, I haven't read like the physical copies of books. I've listened to them on Audible for the last several years. It's just been so busy that I listen to them mostly
While
on
you
Audible.
work and things. Yeah.
So I do go through a good stash of books, but I've discovered that the type of books that I go through Audible versus like the hard copy is different. It's primarily reading for pleasure rather than what I would do before, which was I would do a lot of reading for pleasure, but I did a lot of studying and history and stuff like that. And I don't want to listen to that so much.
I enjoy it.
Yeah. I do it in a different way. So I've just discovered that my reading has changed, like what I'm reading by doing it through Audible.
That makes sense.
And so I don't connect with a book in the same way when I listen to it as when I read it with my eyes.
I saw you had a book here. Did you have a book recommendation? I brought one.
At the end.
Okay, at the end. Well, I'm going to share mine now because I'm really excited about this book. So we got this book for Abby, A Long Walk to Water, and it's by Linda Sue Park. We bought it for her for Christmas because Abby's favorite kind of books are real stories. So she loves biographies and memoir. And
real stories meaning not fiction.
Not fiction. That's the thing. She likes fiction too, but she loves nonfiction. And she just really connects. But it's stories, not just like, self-help kind of nonfiction, but memoir, biographies, those kinds of things. So this one is a memoir. And it's based on a true story. It was written with the author, Linda Sue Park, wrote the book. But it came from information from the person that it's about. And it's actually the story of two people, but oh my goodness, it is heartbreakingly beautiful. I pre-read it because of the fact that at the bottom it says tragic and harrowing. And I knew it was for her age group, like it was directed toward like a older middle grade age. But if it says tragic and harrowing, I want to know, is it graphic or, anything like that? I'm so glad I read it before she did. Not before, but I'm just so glad I read it. It is amazing. So just basically it's about two children in Sudan. One of the stories takes place in the 80s and one of the stories takes place in, I think, 2005. And it is 2008. Yeah, and it is beautiful. Did you?
So after you recommended this to me the other day, I went and got a copy, and Nadia and I started reading it aloud together. So she's already just like, Mom, can we read again?
I love this book. It is fantastic. And I won't give anything away other than it's a conquering story. It's not just heartbreak with nothing else to it. It's beautiful. I just loved it. There's so much to come from it. So, and it's a little book. It's fast read. So good. I read it in 2 sittings, at bedtime, 2 nights in a row. Definitely recommend it. A Long Walk to Water. Beautiful. So pick that one up.
That's one of my favorite things to do is to read aloud with my daughters. And they haven't really wanted to do that much lately. So when you recommended that and I showed Nadia, look, it's not a very big book. That means you don't have to sit with me for that long. So we started it and she's loving it. So.
Oh, it's so good. And it is very, very, very sad, but beautiful, beautiful. Oh, wonderful. All right. So we're going to do finished objects. Then we'll do works in progress. Then we'll have kindness is like sugar segment by Deborah. And then some shop news. So finished objects. I said I had 4, but I actually have 5. Okay. So, but you have more. So you go first.
All right. I have cast on and finished. Wait, did I have this cast on last time?
I don't know.
No, this was my Christmas Eve cast on. I cast on a pair of shorty socks for my daughter Nadia. Look, I have them done. Ta-da!
They're so cute.
This is using my let me get it. I'm reaching over. This is using my Kindness is Like Sugar sock set that I released in December. And this one was a fundraiser for Operation Underground Railroad, and I sent in that donation back in December. And so I finished a pair of shorty socks, and it's just a basic vanilla shorty sock that I will work on soon, getting a just pattern written up, since I have people ask me all the time for that. But I just did a little contrasting cast on and then knit the rest. And this in the Kindness is Like Sugar colorway.
I think it's fun how something so simple as just that little stripe of color can make it, contrasting
just give it a
color.
little something.
Yeah.
Because with shorty socks, I don't want to do the cuff, heel, and toe, or just the toe, or the, most of the time I just like the simplicity of it for shorties.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those were really fun.
Did you put the elastic thread in that 2 and 2?
No, Nadia has requested that I don't, but I suspect after she wears it one time, she'll ask for me to put it in. So she just wants to wear them, and she's like, when are you podcasting? So she can wear them. So now that I have shown you, she can wear them.
Wonderful. They're so cute.
I like when I was knitting and I'd get to the little blip of speckles of color throughout there. It just made it really fun to get to those little blips.
I definitely need to add elastic to my shorties like you normally do, because I just usually wear them at home, but I tried to wear them under a pair of my boots, like my little booties.
And they were sliding around.
And I was not happy about it. I'm like, I walk around like everything's okay, but inside my sock is sliding down into my shoe.
Which is maddening.
Yes, it is.
So cute. Originally, when I first started knitting shorties, I don't remember the pattern that I used, but it had you do a shortened heel flap so that it came down lower, and that's where I really needed the elastic in it. But it was always sliding down, so I've just done a regular, my normal heel flap for the last several pair that I've done. So everybody in my family, not everybody, my husband doesn't want shorty socks.
Yeah.
Okay, I went through socks. I washed all the laundry this last week. It had piled up, and I washed a ton of laundry, and then we sorted all the socks and matched my husband's socks. He has over 60 pair of socks, not the hand knit ones, of other socks, that takes up more than a drawer. He can't close his drawer. And every time we go to the store, he's like, I need socks. I'm like, no, you don't need any more socks. So I had him sit there and match them all with me so he could just see the pile growing and growing and growing and growing. And then
that's awesome. So
next time he's like, I need some more socks. I'm like, think again. Because I don't have to wash socks for 2 months.
2 months? Oh my goodness.
2 months of socks. That's not even the hand knit socks. That's just, it's a lot. My goodness. And that was after we threw away the ones with the holes and stuff.
Isn't it he just doesn't like the socks that he has, and so he thinks he needs socks, maybe?
Well, it's probably just like with me. I need another project bag.
Yeah.
I need more stitch markers.
Yeah, I understand that need.
It's just that socks, some people, they're like, oh, socks for Christmas. We love socks for Christmas. Store-bought, hand knit, whatever. We just love socks.
Just
I
like
don't care. We just like socks a lot. So my family is a sock-loving family.
That's wonderful. My family is too, now that I think about it. I'm the least sock-loving of all of us, but I love hand-knit socks. Yeah. But I don't like socks in general.
But I think you love hand-knit socks because you're the sock knitter and it.
But I actually like them. Like, I wear them. Normally, I wouldn't wear. I always would take off my socks. Okay. They just never felt good on my feet. But
I wear socks.
I don't even own a pair of socks that are not hand-knit socks. I don't even own one. Isn't that interesting? It's weird. Anyway.
I'd like to get to that point.
Look what I'm wearing. I finished my sweater. Ta-da!
I told Emily I was going to call her out on this publicly.
Yeah.
On finishing it, but I didn't have to.
No, I did it. For those of you who don't know the saga, I will give you the abbreviated version. In March, I started a sweater out of this yarn, which is my bookworm colorway. And it was a Marie Green pattern, but I don't remember which one it was. It doesn't really matter. The point was I didn't like it.
You were almost done.
I had knit the whole body.
2 weeks?
I had knit I knit it in 2 weeks. I knit the first sleeve and it was way too big. So I pulled it out and I decreased it a lot more dramatically and it was still just way too big. Just huge huge. So I realized as a raglan sweater, I would have to pull the whole thing up to about right here to redo the raglan increases and calculate it out to make that sleeve smaller. And I wasn't going to do that. So I pulled the whole thing out, and then using curly yarn that I'd not re-soaked or re-skeined or anything, I started knitting another cardigan. And that cardigan, this one I used as a base for it with a lot of modifications. I used the Sparkle cardigan by Joji Locatelli, and I used it to get basically my stitch counts and the sleeve shaping. I adjusted the front of it. I adjusted the waist of it. I adjusted the length and the sleeve. So you can't really, I don't know. It was a base for it. Plus that pattern is completely knit in an all over texture stitch where I did this one stockinette. But I am much happier with it. The sleeve fits exactly how I want it to, 3/4 length. Fits, you know, close to my arm, but with some room. And I'm thrilled with it. The problem was that I knit this sweater. Again, it took me a couple of months, probably because I started working on other projects. And then I bound off the bottom and went and knit the sleeves and bound off the sleeves and realized my bind offs were way too tight, like ridiculously too tight. So I kind of got mad and put it aside for a few weeks. And then I pulled it out a while later and I thought, okay, I just need to knit it with a larger size needle. So I went and unpicked the bind off, and the yarn I'm using for this, even though this is my bookworm colorway, this is not one of my standard bases. It was one that I bought to try it out, and I didn't love it enough to keep it in my shop. And it's definitely a woolier, grabbier yarn. So undoing those bind offs, not my happy thing. So I undid the bind off on the bottom and I reknit it. And I did one sleeve, and then I thought, wait a minute, did I try that on? So I tried it on. Do you know what I did on both the bottom and the sleeve? I undid that entire bind off and then redid it in the same needle. I didn't go up the needle size like I was planning to. So I threw it in a corner, well, kind of in my sewing room, and I didn't pick it up for a long time. So then about 2 weeks ago, I finally picked it up and I redid the bind offs and I blocked it, kind of a basic blocking, not extensive enough, since remember it was all that curly yarn, so that I could have it ready to pick up this band. But it took me a few days, and then it was a week ago yesterday. I came home from church and I realized I was really mad because I wanted to wear this sweater last week. And I thought, this is ridiculous. I have been working on this for 9 months. So I got it out and I did the band on Sunday night. And guess what? I have worn this sweater every single day since then. So lime green sweaters really are a neutral in my wardrobe.
They're a great staple.
A great staple. It goes with everything.
It goes with your eyes.
Anyway, I love it. I love it, love it. Although now that I've worn it every day for a week, I'm okay to,
wear other things.
Yeah, wear other things. I do need to do a good wash of it though, because it was with that curly yarn. I feel I'm not gonna be able to show you this, but I feel like it's still a little messy, if that makes sense. I don't recommend doing that. Just sometimes, you get a little antsy or cranky, or I don't know what it was. So I do need to do a good soak and wash of it to get everything to relax really well, and then block it really well so that I can straighten out the cuffs and some of the things. So it'll be tidier, because most of the things I knit are very neat and tidy, and this is not as neat and tidy, but I love it. It's great. So there you go.
Very good. All right. I received a lovely gift of some, I don't know how you say the cheese
or something.
However you say that, Katona cotton yarn, from a really lovely friend, because I wanted to knit the Wondrous Dishcloth by Jules. We've talked about that one here before many times. By Jules from So Sweet Violet. And I've knit it with other yarn, but I wanted to try this yarn. And she got me a stash. Here's some of them, which look how pretty.
They look so
So
fun.
I have knit one, and I had like this much left because I just didn't know how many more rows I could get out of it, and I wanted to stop at a certain point. I didn't get the full seven repeats done. I did like 6.5, I think, so my gauge is off from Jules a bit, but I like the size and the shape. It's great, and I love this one. We've talked about it before, but it's, you know, double layered and held together, kind of like quilted together. You can see the little areas where we've grabbed the back stitches and connected them to the front so that it doesn't come apart. And so it's a nice thick dishcloth. And that's one thing I haven't really been a big fan of knitted dishcloths, because to me I didn't like the looser gauge and a little too floppy, and I like this one, that this is more robust. So this was a great one for me. And
you could use it in place of like a kitchen sponge, kind of.
Yeah.
Almost.
I just use it for everything in the kitchen. I like it. I liked mine. I have 4 right now, and I would like 70. Okay, maybe not 70.
Jason
I would
socks.
take 20 Jason socks. I wouldn't have to wash for months.
For 2 months.
Oh, those would,
They would be
awful.
nasty.
No, I would just like a nice selection of them to rotate through often. I used which size did I use? I think I used the recommended needle. I'm pretty sure I did. So whatever the recommended needle is on here. One thing that's really nice with her pattern is that she's got a couple of video tutorials. One for doing the cast on, which is the Judy's Magic cast on, and then how to do the Kitchener stitch at the end. So it's nice that she's got links to things in there. So if you're not sure how to do that, there's a video to watch, which makes it really easy. So, and I also like that Jules has her patterns available on Etsy. So that makes it really nice. So you can go over to Etsy and get that pattern, knit a whole bunch.
It's wonderful. All right.
Oh, look at what it's in.
Oh, yes.
Look at this. It is the cutest. It's like my grandma's knitting basket that she had, but mini. This is from a friend, Renee, and she brought this back from Hawaii. It is the cutest thing. I think it's supposed to be a picnic thing, like hold your utensils here.
Mine is so full of bits and bobs
It
right
is
now.
so
But look
cute.
at this. Aren't they so
much.
fun?
Oh,
I've got so
I
much
want to
time
go buy
do.
a whole bunch more of these. I can't find any more online.
They're so cute.
They are adorable. Cutest thing ever.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Okie dokie. Another finished thing. And I may have shown this last time. So if I did, fast forward. But I finished this pair of socks. These are my Francis socks. And I knit them in Tuscan Knits in the, I'm going to say Haar, H-A-A-R colorway. And it's on her Fife base. And I will have this pattern. In fact, by the time this is up, the pattern will be on my website. Yay! I've been talking about it forever. It's finally going to be there. So you can just go to yarnbrary.com to get the pattern. But it's really fun, all over texture stitch and 1x1 twisted rib. And it's just really nice. And I love this base. It's a beautiful, beautiful base. So very pretty
That's the pattern
yarn.
I used to knit my shop sample colorway carousel colorway. Love.
Which I have some over there on my cart that I really want to cast on. Deborah and I were talking about this just before we started recording. I feel like I'm in a very happy place where I'm drowning in gorgeous yarn that I want to knit right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this is wonderful. So I will have this up by the time this video goes live. It will be available.
Very pretty. Okay, I'm almost to the end of the row.
Get to the end of the road.
Hold on, I've got, okay, 2, 1.
We're both in a
Okay,
very
there
similar
we go.
place on our socks. Working on gussets, yep.
Okay, another pair of finished socks. I don't have these on sock blockers. I didn't bring them. This is a, not an afterthought, everything. I had some of my yarn cranked into tubes by Sweet Haven Arts. She's on Instagram. She's local here to me, and she worked with me on figuring out gauge and things for shop samples for me. And so she cranked the colorway bubblegum ice cream colorway for me. And then she did 2 separate tubes for me so that I didn't have to separate them into that. And then I went and added the toe and an afterthought heel and the cuff. And this was a true afterthought heel. And, I just went and picked up stitches on both sides and cut between and did a rounded decrease with 5 rounds of plain knitting first. And let's see, I did 18 rounds of ribbing, 1x1 ribbing, and this is kind of a little bit funky here, hasn't been blocked, but a slightly rounded decrease toe. And yeah.
What color is the contrast?
This is one that I just dyed, just a red that I dyed. Actually, it was included in a sock set that I did earlier this last year. It was the Bomb Pop.
That was such a
sock
cute
set.
one.
And it was the red from that. That's what it was. I'm like, what did I have that from? Yeah.
That's fun.
So, because it was just a nice plain red. So,
Lovely.
perfect for Valentine's. Nice pinks and reds. Love it, love it. I love this colorway.
Very fun.
I really like this colorway.
And it's so exact. Like, you did such a good job of capturing that bubblegum ice cream. Like, it looks exactly the same.
It was really fun to do.
So fun.
Like, I did multiple attempts at it, and I was really excited to finally get it just how I wanted. So thanks, Emily.
So pretty. Cute and fun.
And yeah, if you need sock tubes cranked, go contact her on Instagram.
That's a great idea.
She's really nice and helpful. She had good prices. I don't remember what they are.
It's kind of fun
really nice.
to do that where you have the tubes cranked, but then, ooh, what do I have going on here? Something wacky.
Well, I wanted to do, because she could do the whole sock if I remember correctly. I'm sorry if I got that wrong, but I wanted to go in and add in contrasting cuffs, heels.
Well, and I was going to say the other thing too is if you have tubes cranked and then they're just waiting, then if you need a gift for somebody, you can customize it and make it so it fits that person. And it doesn't take as long to just put in the heels, toes, and cuffs than it does to, obviously knit a whole pair of socks. So that's pretty dandy.
I've got one more tube to finish.
Oh, yeah?
So, or not one more tube, but one more colorway that she cranked into 2 tubes for me.
Nice.
That I need to finish.
Nice. All right. More socks. I've been all about the socks lately. So I knit a pair of socks for Christmas, and I'm calling these my ugly Christmas socks, like an ugly Christmas sweater, even though they're cute. But
it matches your dress and your sweater.
Although I would never wear these together, oddly enough. This is from Mustache Yarn, this yarn, self-striping. And it was a very Hobbit Christmas. Is that clicking?
I keep hearing the...
I have one of those little, I don't know if you can see it, right back there, right there. It's one of those little dancing elves. I hope it's not annoying.
It's fun. It's fun over there.
I think it's fun. It makes me happy to be down here. It was from a friend.
Yeah.
And so when I'm down here working on things, I just hear it dancing away in the window. But anyway, this is a very Hobbit Christmas colorway. It had 24 different colored stripes for the 24 days of Advent. I'm just showing you the one because, using same set of blockers for multiple pairs of socks. But I know a lot of people put their contrasting heels, toes, and cuffs. I just kept it simple and I used the same thing because I was going for as busy as possible, and they are fun.
You've achieved that.
I have achieved that. So I just wore these for Christmas and they were a lot of fun. I don't know if I will do the same one again, the same kind of an idea again at another pair, but I enjoyed it. It was fun. And again, that's just a vanilla sock, my basic sock pattern.
Okay, I've got... So I should have actually been wearing these earlier.
Oh, those are cute.
I made
I like you.
some fingerless mitts. I love them. Love them with this yarn from Hue Loco. The colorway is Modest Melon. I got this at Willow Hill at Gardner Village in Salt Lake, or in West Jordan. I have this much yarn left. No idea how much that is, but it's a DK weight yarn and it's very lovely and lush. I like it. So I knit this modifying the world's simplest mittens pattern by Tin Can Knits. Let's see if I can remember. It's been a while now that I've just dropped everything and I have to reorganize. Okay, I didn't write down what I did. Do I know what size? Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I did fits hands 7 3/4 inches around. That's the size that I did. So that would be the medium, the adult medium size. So I did the adult medium size in DK weight yarn, and I knit the cuff or the ribbing, which, you know, can be down like that. But I also like, because I did a fold over cuff at the top, that it's cute to have it match on the bottom. But if you want it to be warmer there, you don't have to. And then instead of going up and doing decreases here, instead I started doing ribbing about where my fingers begin, and just did ribbing all the way past the tops of my fingers, because what I wanted it to do was to cover my pinky when my hand is like this and leave the rest open. That's what I wanted. So, and then I did 1 by 1 ribbing on the thumb as well. So instead of just picking up the stitches here and knitting it as it said, I just did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds of 1 by 1 ribbing. I think I could have done 7 or 8 possibly, and I think that this was actually the same length as the cuff, and I don't remember how long it said in the pattern, but I think these ended up being the same length. So if you want to knit some, that's how I did it. They are a little bit loose, so I could have gone down one size, but it doesn't bother me. It's nice and warm.
I am pretty sure I have to make some of those for myself, because my hands are always cold.
Yeah, that's...
And but I still need to like be able to use your phone, or,
that's
you know,
why
things
I wanted
like that. Yeah.
to... And the other thing is, if my hands are a little too cold, I can do this. Yeah, that looks weird. It doesn't matter. It's okay. It'd still warm my fingers up if I needed.
Yeah.
But, so if I needed to cover them up, I could. But I just want to be able to use these fingers.
Right.
For my phone and stuff like that. So
smarty.
But I want it to be as warm as possible, so I wanted it to cover as much as possible, but still be able to use them.
Plus, folded over, you've got like double warmth, double thickness there. Nice.
So I really liked knitting those, and I have more of this yarn, so I could knit like a matching hat.
I would say that I have a matching hat, but let's face it, Abby has taken that hat of mine.
Yeah, that's why I had to go get the yarn, because our friend knit you a hat from that yarn, and I thought it was the cutest thing ever. It is such a cute hat. So I ran out and bought the yarn.
It's so cute. It's really cute. Abby agrees. She has stolen it. And it looks adorable on her. So these are not technically blocked. They're just on blockers, so they don't look as good in the screen as they do in person. They're so
really pretty.
Love these socks.
Really pretty.
These are my Fizz socks, and they are knit in Woolberry Fiber Co. She had a set that was vintage Christmas ornament was the set, and it came with this mini to go with this yarn, and it's a lovely, squishy, beautiful yarn. I love working this pattern with it. I really love the Fizz socks and the Francis socks. They are my 2 favorite sock patterns. If you want a little bit of something lacy, or if you want a little bit of something more textured, either way, they're very simple. They don't take a lot of thought, and they just add some extra interest to them. So I've been knitting a ton of these. These, I think I knit the whole pair in like 3 days because it was right after Christmas, you know, that lovely week where you don't even know what day it is or what time of day it is, and it just kind of all fades together in this mush of delicious leftovers and movies and knitting these socks. So that was really fun. I knit them extra long in the leg, and I can't wait to wear them. I've really been excited to wear them. So
you typically like really your socks to be shorter though.
Well, I'll tell you, I have the exact thing for me. I do 20 rows in my cuff, 60 rows in the leg. Then I do my heel flap turn. I do my gusset. This is for me, my personal preference. I finish my decreases, and then I do 65 rows, and then I do my toe. So that's what fits me perfectly. And I never measure. I just count rows, and it works for me every time. So
I am so lazy. I start counting rows, and then I'm just like, forget this.
Progress keepers. I just move it up every 10 rows.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm too lazy.
And I've done so many pairs of socks that way that I can glance at it and I can see where the progress keeper, and I can go, oh yeah, everything below that's about 40 stitches.
Yeah.
You know, so it's totally good. It doesn't take any brain power. It's funny because you get to that point where you've knit some things so much that you can just do them really without thinking. And I've realized I'll be knitting and I can do run a meeting while I'm working on a heel and picking up gusset stitches, and people are like, how do you do that? And I go, oh, what was I doing? I don't know. So
typically what I do for mine is, this is how I do it, is I knit the cuff, and I usually like to do about 20 to 25 rounds. It depends if it's for me or if it's for Jason. And then I knit the leg until it's the length of my hand to my fingertip.
Oh, there you go.
And if I do that, and then I do my heel turn and I knit the foot the length that it needs to fit me, that when I fold it up, this one isn't for me. When I fold it in half, they match up just the same. It's the same length. So that makes me happy. So that's why I knit it that direction. So if I do that and then I fold it over, I know when I need to be done because that's the length my foot is.
Isn't that funny how you just get so used
that's
to it?
So my hand is my measurement. I don't count rows or rounds or anything. That's the length. Okay, that's how I know.
That's fun. I think it's fun. I love hearing what people do because I'm sure you all have your things that you go, oh, well, I just know when it's this, then that's, whether it's for socks or hats or whatever, you just...
And it was just after doing it enough times and figuring out, oh, that's the length of my hand, and that's the length I like it to be, and so now I don't need a ruler with me,
There you go.
And you don't need a ruler or anything. You just have your stitch marker that you move up.
Yeah,
so
every 10 rows.
That's good. Do you have more things?
I have one sewing finished object.
Okay, and I've got some sewing, but I've got a couple more knitting.
Yeah,
so I'll show some knitting, then we can go on to sewing.
Perfect.
Okay, I was gonna do, I don't remember. I had some plan to go from one to another for some reason. Okay, I have been knitting hats, little baby hats.
Cute.
I have 4 of my littlest elf hat pattern that I have knit, and these 2 are from the same ball of yarn. I love how it creates these just patterns, makes it look a lot more fancy, like I worked harder on it than I actually did. And I love these snowball pom-poms. And then I've only made one from this yarn. The yarn is, did I pull it out? I didn't bring it with me. It's Hobby Yarn, HOBBII. Yes. And they have some that's worsted and some that's DK. This was their DK light worsted version yarn. But if you look at the yardage doesn't seem to match up with most DK yarns, but it does knit up like a DK. It was really interesting. When I read the yardage, it doesn't have quite as much, but that's how it knits up. But this one was a bit more thick, and so it ended up being slightly larger. I have more of the solids, and I haven't tried them to see if they're the same way, but the patterned ones are a little bit lighter. And and I've knit 2 from this yarn. I gave one away already. And then with scraps, with the leftovers, oh, I did bring the yarn. Hobby Tivoli 100% acrylic. And they have solids and they have patterns, prints. So I knit 2 of these, and then I knit a little preemie one. Look how adorable that is. It is tiny, tiny, tiny. And I have enough left to knit probably 2 more of these. And then I knit 2 with this yarn, and I knit a newborn size without, kind of doing the decreases this way. I did them differently, but the newborn hats like this I wanted to donate to, I need to find, I can't remember because I did this years ago. There was an organization for angel babies that we did angel baby pouches for, and I wanted to knit hats for them and for some other things like that. So I need to try to track down where to donate those to, but because this yarn is so soft and really cute, and you want it to be really soft, so I'm using the leftover bits to make tiny hats with. So that's how many I have made, and this pattern is now available on my Etsy shop, and it's one size, it's just a newborn size. I'm doing simple basic patterns, like how to knit a basic newborn hat. And
so what is your Etsy shop?
My Etsy shop, my Etsy shop is Candy Shoppe Yarns, and it's just for patterns. That's all. I closed my website, my Shopify website down where I sold yarn, and spent forever figuring out, because I am not a technically inclined person, how to transfer it all over to a WordPress account. And so you can actually just go to candyshoppeyarns.com and it will link over to where you can get the patterns from. And there's a blog on there where I have a couple of blog posts about that were on my other account that I just transferred over from when I had my yarn shop open. So I still have a website, but I wanted somewhere where I could post patterns as I work on those without needing to maintain my Shopify account.
That makes sense.
So that pattern is available now. It is just the littlest elf hat pattern. It's not for these little ones. I'm just showing that I used the leftover yarns to make some other ones. In the future, I may just write these up so that you can do some what am I trying to say? Service knitting, some charity knitting for free, free pattern.
Love it. They are so cute. I've got to knit some.
Yeah, you can use other yarn. You don't have to use that yarn. It's just that
but it is cute and soft
and on clearance, so couldn't go wrong with that. It was like $1.25 a ball, something like that.
Yeah, that's shipping. Fantastic.
So when it's like that, of course I bought 18 balls of them.
Just a little bit.
I don't know that many people having babies, so I'm working on discovering more.
That's awesome. Okay. You have
I have more. Sorry.
You have to show that. Yes.
My cowl. I finished my diamond cowl. I'm like, I don't want to put it on because it's going to catch on my earrings. Let's see. Okay.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Black, because, can never have too much black in my life until it's summertime. I want all the bright colors. So this is a pattern that I am working on writing up. I have it, pretty much written up. I just need to get it together so test knitters can test it. And it takes approximately 70 grams of fingering weight yarn and 30 grams of lace weight mohair and held together. And it has a diamond texture pattern on it, and it's very basic. It's all just knits and purls and knitting in the round. And so it's very, very basic easy pattern, but
So
I
pretty.
just love having things on my neck. You don't love that as much, but I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like I was born cold. And I could never warm up. Except for summertime, and then I never cooled down. But in general, in the winter, I am always cold.
It's really pretty on you.
So, yeah, I'll be working on getting that pattern together. Yeah, I've never really been that interested in writing up patterns, but when I want something for myself, then I figure I might as well get it written up, because just basic things, because that's the questions that you typically get. How do you do this? You know, a basic sock, a basic mitten, a basic hat. So here's a basic cowl. This is not necessarily a basic because it does have patterning to it, and
It's
so
really pretty.
it will also have the option, you know, how to knit it without. So it is basic.
Very nice.
So that one will be coming along shortly.
Lovely.
All right, we have some sewing.
We do. So you go ahead, because mine is a very, very, very simple project.
I talked about these last time, where I was making mittens from an old wool sweater, and because I purchased some from a booth, an artisan booth at the German Christmas market, and it was Love Woolies, and I thought I wanted to make some, so I made 2 pair. I made this one, and I made this one.
Cute.
And I realized that it is well worth it to just go buy them from somebody else that makes them. So this one is for you.
Oh, fun.
Let's see.
Ooh, those are very soft. Love them.
Afterwards, I'm like, oh, you should have had the pink hearts, and I should have had the red, because that would have matched better, but our personalities. But you get red, sorry.
I'm not complaining. I didn't even know they were for me, so that's awesome.
So
They're so soft.
These
are so warm.
Yeah, just go buy them from somebody else.
Don't do them yourself.
You can, but they were just such a finicky fuss that I thought,
If you think it's finicky, there's no way I would do it.
You know what? There's a lot of things, though, that I do that are finicky that don't bother me so much. I don't know what it was about this that kind of... It just wasn't... It's because I couldn't make them as neat and tidy as I wanted them to be. I think that's what it was.
They couldn't be as precise.
And
they look really good. They're beautiful.
But they are really nice and warm. I do love how warm...
They are very warm.
And squishy they are.
They are very soft inside, too.
Anyways.
Very nice. That's so cute.
There's one sewing.
Thank you.
And the other thing is that I spent a long time trying to create the pattern, because there were a lot of things online that kind of told you how, but there wasn't really ever a pattern that I found. So I spent a lot of time, I think that's what it was, figuring out a pattern. Now that I had that kind of figured out, I guess I could make more, but
You're good?
Yeah, I'll buy them.
You'd rather knit?
Yeah, I would. Because you know what? Love Woolies makes them really well. So.
Well, thank you. I'm thrilled with them. They're beautiful. Fun
Okay,
stuff.
where's your
all right.
sewing?
So our dad sent us a Marco Polo the other day and said, all right, my girls. He always does that when he wants something sewn.
Yeah.
Girls, I need this thing. So our dad has a lot of health problems, and he recently retired, and so he spends a lot more time in his office. He has a black chair in his office. And I mean, I'm just talking about his home office. He has a black chair, and he needed a pad to help support his back. So he said, I bought a piece of foam and I cut it the size that I need, and I need a cover for it. So I'm going to go buy some vinyl. Can I drop it off? So anyway, I don't like doing stuff like this. It is not something I enjoy. But this is the thing. It took me 10 minutes.
Yeah.
To do it, and I just made an envelope style. It's going to have a little piece of Velcro right here. He has the Velcro, and it will just, so it'll stay closed. And then he's going to put a piece of Velcro on his chair, and it will go here.
So it won't slide
So
around.
it won't slide around. It'll stick to the back of his chair. But it took me 10 minutes to do it instead of, it's not a big deal, and it's something nice. So I just thought I would show it because I'm proud of myself for saying yes and doing it.
Well, and I like the envelope style that you did, an envelope style.
Yeah, and it made it easier to sew it that way. And it has a nice finish to it. And the other thing is that foam, like the foam that he bought, this open cell foam, it's going to break down.
Yeah, so he'll need to replace that.
And he has actually another piece of this. So I told him, I said, once you've used it a while, it's going to get thinner. Then you can put the second piece of foam in there.
Yeah.
So that it will plump it up again.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I was thinking about that and we were talking just when you first got here, I need to make myself a seat cushion. I find that when I have meetings that go meeting to meeting to meeting, I get really done by the end of it with the seats.
Yep.
And I think I need to make myself the old lady
I
seat
actually
cushion.
had one for years. I had one for a long time because after Ella was born, I broke my tailbone and I needed one to sit on for a while. But it's got so old.
Yeah.
And the other day I was looking for it, like, oh, I need one to sit on.
I have a Saturday coming up, this Saturday, that I'm thinking maybe I'll make one for myself before then so that I can be a happier person.
I know, I've got foam on my sewing chair, but I still haven't covered it. It's been years.
Oh, yeah, you do.
And I never covered it. Yeah.
Try the envelope
because
style.
I hate working with foam so much.
I know, it's not
so
enjoyable.
Much. But like you said, it will take no time at all. Just do it and get it over with.
Yeah. It's that procrastination that makes it seem like a bigger job than it actually is.
Well, and it's functioning without a cover. So I'm like, it actually isn't functioning extremely well because it keeps sliding everywhere.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So,
funny things. Well, there you go. That was my very exciting finished.
I need to redo the seat cushions that I have in my kitchen bay window in our dining area. And those, I have to custom cut the foam and cover. And I have to do that like every 6-7 years because they get such heavy use.
Yeah.
And so, I've put that off for a year too much because you can see through it. It just gets worn out because we use it all day, every single day. It's the area that we sit. So
right, it's that center of your home.
Yeah, so it just needs to be done again. But I really don't enjoy doing it, and I need new foam now.
Was it you that I was talking to where I said, "Oh, my house is such a disaster."
Yeah,
and then I said, "Wait, actually, no, my house is clean. My kitchen is a disaster, but it feels like your whole house is a disaster because everything centers on the kitchen, doesn't it?"
If the kitchen is clean, I feel much better about it.
It's like making your bed. Your whole room feels 10 times cleaner if your bed
and it
is
takes
made.
how long to do? Not long.
Apparently too long today, because if you went up there, my bed is not made.
Okay, my other sewing project. I have been working on kind of a service project where I'm doing birthday pillowcases. I am making about 70 of these this year. And the sewing it is really fun and enjoyable. I like making pillowcases, so I like doing that. I've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 so far in the last week. And then I've cut out, I think, 22 bands to make more with scraps of fabric that I've just had in my stash. So now I need to start collecting fabric scraps from other people.
Which is where you come in.
To have, it takes 10 inches. Well, it's 9 inches, but by the time I trim everything down and make sure it's straight, it's like 10 inches that starts with, by the width of quilting fabric, which is 44 inches. Because once I trim it down, it ends up being about 43. Some of them are really short, though, and end up being only 41, and that doesn't really work because it needs to be wide enough for the pillows. So I buy the 44-inch wide fabric and make sure that it's close to that, so when I trim it down, I'll have enough still. But if you happen to have, extra scrap pieces in your stash that you're like, I just don't know what to do with, I know somebody who can use 10 inches by 44-inch pieces
of quilting type fabric.
Fabric. So this is a service project for women in my neighborhood. So it's for birthdays.
That's so fun.
it's been fun just trying to find, wide variety of colors and styles and stuff to suit different personalities.
Because then they're picking the one
they get
want,
to pick
right?
their own. Yeah.
That's fun.
So when we're done here, I'm going to go and buy some more white fabric after this because I'm out.
You've inspired me to make new pillowcases, at least for us, our whole family. We're in that place where, you know how you just go through those cycles where all of a sudden you look and you're like, all of our sheets, all of our bedding, well, our pillowcases, they all need to be replaced because they're just getting old and dingy.
Okay, let me tell you what spurred this project. So, there was a lady that lives in my father's neighborhood, and she was in there. Sorry, this is noisy, so I'm just going to take it off so I don't keep clinking things. She passed away recently, and she was like everybody's mother and everybody's sister that lived there. And she went all around and just visiting people all day, just checking in on people. And at Christmas time one year, she made pillowcases for a whole bunch of people and took them to them. I think she actually put pillows in them too, not just pillowcases. And my dad was telling me that and how it was really thoughtful. And I thought, oh, that's really nice. And I was thinking about neighbor gifts and I haven't done really anything good for a while. I was thinking about that. Then my sister separately told me how when she got divorced, she went and moved in with my parents for a short time, and it was during Christmas, and it was when this lady brought pillows over, and she found that my sister and her son were living there, and she's like, oh, I didn't know you were here. And she went home, and a couple of days later came back with pillows and pillowcases for them. And that meant a lot to my sister, and she says she still has it, and it's been 10 years. 10 years she still has those, and they still use them, and she just remembers how she felt really loved at a difficult time in her life. And so that just made me think, how often do we feel forgotten? That sometimes we feel like we're just not really, we're not remembered by people, and we don't really matter. And I thought it would be nice to have something that isn't just, here's a piece of candy, you eat it and you forget about it, but it's something that is a reminder that you're loved and that somebody's thinking about you, because you can use that for years, and every time you lay on it, you know that somebody cares about you. And so that just inspired me to follow the lead of this sweet woman who did that in my father's neighborhood. So
I love it.
That's why I'm doing that.
That was a really touching story too that she shared.
Do you have any other projects that are unfinished, or that are
I have
finished?
Lots of unfinished.
That are finished. Okay.
A few.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, then let's move on to. Are you okay? Do you need to do some stretching?
No, I've been working a lot, so my back is like.
I need to use that pad for a minute.
I know. I might need to sit on that pad.
Okay. Let's move on to works in progress.
All right. Oh, I'm so excited about my works in progress. All of them. I can't decide where to start.
The one that you got out.
I'll start
right
with
there.
this one. So I was super lucky enough to have Jules of So Sweet Violet, her Advent, which was a 12-day Advent. And this was the bag. She had a pink bag and a blue bag. I think you got the pink one, didn't you? I got the blue one. And it's full of beautiful things, including a needle cozy and a really cute tape measure in this really pretty rose gold package, and a candle and soap, etc., etc. Some lovely, lovely things. And this is really so fun. Her needle gauge. Isn't that cute? So cute. And it came with some dandelion and dogwood yarn in a sock set, and they were different for the pink and the blue. So this is the set for the blue. And it's on her sparkly base. You can't see the sparkle, but it is a gold sparkle, which is my favorite kind of sparkle. And this color is called Wintertime Woodland. And I have finished the first sock. And I put this little like sporty stripe at the top. And of course this is just all wrinkly, and then the contrast heel and toe. And I did kind of a longer color, like I changed the color on the toe before. I actually decided,
like doing that.
Yeah,
because when you wear it, it looks nice.
Yeah, when I wear my socks, my feet kind of curve a little bit like this. And so if I have just the toe itself knit in that color, it kind of looks like it's on an angle on my foot. So I like to knit them a little longer. Anyway, so like that. And then I am working on the second one. And so this is where I am on the second one. I've done the heel and I'm working on my gusset decreases here. And this is how I do my, here I want to kind of even it out a little bit. My magic loop when I am doing my decreases, I have my loops at 2 points, or 3 points basically for my decreases. So I have the center of the back of the heel and then at both my decrease points. That's how I do mine. So it's really fun. And I wish you could see the sparkle in this. It's very sparkly, which is really a big part of what makes this yarn so fun. Is the gold sparkle in it. And this little progress keeper is one of the ones from my knitter's necklaces.
Very pretty.
So I thought that went nicely along with that yarn. So those are zooming along. I'll be done with them. Ooh, lip balm. It's my favorite. Anyway, I'll be done with those pretty quick.
I've started another pair of socks for my husband because, 60 pairs is not
Hey,
enough.
that's the same yarn I have for Richard, isn't it?
Yep. This is my spruce colorway.
Yep.
And where do you have that?
It's right at the back of that basket.
There we go. This is one that
we should knit these and give them to them so they can wear them at our retreat that we go to. Don't you think that'd be fun?
A fun idea.
And they can both have them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not knitting blue for my husband.
I know.
Or
Me,
gray.
so
I'm knitting
strange.
green. And you know what? It's going to be great. He's going to love them.
He will.
He is going to love them.
He wears a lot of that kind of color, doesn't he?
He does, which is really funny that every time I ask him, what color he wants when we go look at yarns for socks or whatever, he always picks blue or blue-gray or gray-blue. And so I'm like, are you going to handle green? Because he does like green. He likes green. Just blue is his all-time favorite. So if he had his way, everything in the world would be blue. So everything in our house would be blue. Just blue all the way. So I knit my husband's socks longer than my hand. I knit them 1 inch longer. I do an 8-inch leg from the cast on edge down to the heel flap. And this one I think I did 25 rows, rounds, 23 or 25. I have to count it. I just knit it until I'm like, yeah, looks good. I like it. And then I'm just doing, I used to do Eye of Partridge heels and try different heels. And in the end, I'm like, I don't want to have to think about it. So I just do a traditional slip stitch heel flap where it's knit one, slip one, knit one, slip one, knit one, slip one on the right side, and on the wrong side, it's slip one, purl. So that's how I do mine. And this is how I do my gusset decrease, is I switch my needles from knitting this direction back and forth or in the round to knitting the other direction, because I put a progress keeper or a stitch marker where I have my
decrease
front
points.
So this is the front of the leg, and that delineates those stitches, and this is the bottom, or the foot, sorry, the front of the foot, top of the foot. And then when I finish that, I switch them back. And it's not like it takes me any more time. I do it as I'm knitting. It's not fussy or anything. I just do it as I go. So I don't really have to think about it. It's not really that hard. But I like doing it that way because I used to do it all on, not how Emily did it, but I would have it like this, and the back stitches, they'd be so bunched up. There'd be so many stitches on it that it would stretch and pull and give me weird lines on the sides. So I switched to doing it this way, and this way is my favorite way to do it. So I have done it the way Emily does it, which is not my favorite way, but that's, once again, we have our own way of doing things, which is fun.
Yep. And one thing is that you prefer a 32-inch cable for your magic loop. And I prefer a 40-inch cable, and that's probably why.
Yes, I do. I'm like, wait, do I use 40? No,
because 32 is too short for me to do a 3-loop magic loop. So I love it. I think it's great how you just kind of find your way that works the best for you, and
we've had a lot of questions on our sock knitting series on can I do this? How do I do that? And really, it's like we give you the basis, like the basic foundation for knitting socks.
And we're giving you the basic foundation on how we knit socks, and not on how the best way is even.
And then after that, you can just change things as you like. I mean, it's not like there's any hard, fast rules that can't be broken. It's nice to learn rules so you know how to break them. That's
know how to break them effectively.
Not really any rules, but so I'm on sock 1, and I'm feeling pretty proud of myself because normally it takes me forever to knit my husband's socks, but I've been really excited to use this colorway because this one to me was a really special one. It just has memories for me of going to on vacation with my family, and the last time that I went with my whole family together, just really good memories. And I have to show you, this was a gift from my friend Gaina, and I really love this so much. I've been wanting one. Thanks, Gaina. So I actually have this in my knitting bag because I just like it.
Because why not?
I like it so much. I take it into the movie theaters.
That's interesting.
I went to the movies. No, I didn't tell you this. We went to the movies and I was knitting, and I have never, ever had anybody even give me a sideways glance like, what is she doing? Like, nobody has ever cared about it. And so I'll hear from some people that say they feel awkward knitting in public. And I'm like, in the movies, like they don't want to knit in the movies. I'm like, it's dark. Who cares? And in the theater that we go to, it's like these really wide seats. So you have a lot of space, you know, like so that you're not in anybody's space. So the last time I went, I took socks with me. There was a couple sitting next to me, and they did give me the sideways glance. They didn't just like look over. Then they started talking to each other, and she's like looking over and like pointing at me, and I looked at her and I'm like, so they were looking over at me, and I'm like, hi, like, you know, just kind of call them out when somebody's like looking at you and you're trying not to make eye contact. I'm just like, hi. And I'm like, yeah, I'm knitting. And I'm like, good. I'm like, I just hate to sit here without anything to do because then I just eat and eat and eat endlessly. So I just have to knit. And they're like, okay. I'm like, don't worry. I promise that I won't bother you. As long as you don't talk too much, I won't poke you with the needles or whatever, you know, something like that. But they're like, oh, okay. So I've never had anybody ever bothered by it, but apparently they were bothered by the fact that I was knitting. And in the end, I'm like, it doesn't really matter. I don't know how it's affecting you.
Sad for you.
So most of the time, instead, what I do get, not in the theater, but anywhere else, is people coming up. They want to come and ask, like, what are you making? I've given impromptu knitting lessons, and it's all been positive. I have never had anything in any way that was negative. I can't think of any.
I've had pretty much only good experiences. So.
Yeah, just people interested in it. So
although I have to say, so in our church, every once in a while I would bring knitting if I was going to be in a class, specifically in a class where I knew that I was going to be bored. That's really bad. But occasionally, you know, you'll know that there's a specific class teacher that isn't as engaging as others. And so I would bring knitting for that. And then I got a new kind of assignment in our church where and now Deborah shares that assignment in her congregation, where we kind of are the caretakers, what's the right word, for our women's organization. We both are presidents of the women's organization in our congregations. And this one lady said to me, well, I guess you're not going to be able to bring your knitting to church anymore.
I'm like,
I didn't know you had really been noticing.
I just say even more opportunities.
It's true. I actually don't bring knitting to church anymore, but I really miss it. Anyway, so I didn't know that she had really even been noticing that I was doing.
Most of the time, I just think like, what's the fuss?
Yeah,
it's not a big deal. So there's times where I don't, but in general, I just feel like it keeps my hands busy. People doodle, people do different things.
Right.
So stay on their phone forever. I'm like, keeps my hands busy. Okay.
Deborah,
Did I have?
I have to show this one.
Yeah. Oh, how far have you gotten on that? Let's see.
Almost halfway. So first
You're
of all,
almost halfway.
look at this bag.
Your project matches your bag.
Yes, I love this bag. And look at these amazing charms. This is from Amy, Taylor S Studios. Love it so much. And I am knitting the Terrace Wrap by Pearl Soho. It's available on their website, and I just pulled some stitches off my needle. No worries. There we go. Available for free on their website, the Pearl Soho website. Oh, come on. We're tangled. Nope, I'm not more than halfway. I am almost halfway. And it is just a very large, slightly biased rectangle. It's not biased because you're deliberately creating a bias. The fabric just goes on the bias. Does that make sense? So you're not like doing any increases or decreases that would make it do this. The fabric just naturally creates, it likes to lean, which is gorgeous. So I am knitting this beautiful wrap. And this is knit in my colorway Opera Dancer's Daughter. And I love it so much. I showed this a couple of episodes ago, maybe just last episode, where a sweet lady who had knit a sample out of this yarn of mine for Knit and Pretty. And I fell in love with the sample. And so I brought it home. I've even worn it a couple of times, but it's now been washed and is going back. And I am knitting my own because, you know, I can only borrow. It's so stunning.
It is really lovely.
It's so stunning.
It's beautiful.
Yes. And that's the big thing, by the way, to get this quality. Now, this is obviously not blocked, so it's looking much tighter because I'll scrunched up. But the Pearl Soho pattern recommends a needle size US size 4, and this is knit in a US size 6, so a 4mm, and it just gives it this extra drapiness and bounce to it, and I love it. I worried how I would enjoy knitting the same exact stitch for miles, because this is a 3 full skein project, and I am this far into my second skein. So this is what the full skein size is, just to give you an idea. So it's not quite halfway through the second skein. These were all dyed in the same batch, these yarns, and are so close that I decided not to alternate skeins because I really wanted to enjoy the project. And I knew I was going to have to knit forever on the same stitch. So if I were to alternate skeins, that would be another thing that would maybe make me not enjoy it as much. So I figured I'm fine with having a little variation between my skeins, and I'm just going to do it. And you can't even tell where one skein, the first skein ended and the second began. They just blended right in. So I love this. I can't wait to wear it, but I'm also just knitting it when I want to, and then I put it away because I want to enjoy it.
You don't want to get burned out.
I don't want to get too antsy, but keeping it in this bag sure makes it extra happy because this bag is so gorgeous. I love this bag.
It is lovely.
It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I kind of feel like I need it. I mean, this is very rough fabric. Like, could I have a dress made out of it? If I could have a dress in this color, like an evening gown,
Ooh.
I would be so happy.
That is beautiful.
I have to go to a ball every year, and every year I go, oh, what am I going to wear? I have the same one dress that I wear every year. So if I could find some fabric to make me a dress, oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
So pretty. So pretty. All right, Deborah.
I switched now.
Oh, there you go.
Changed directions. So now I'm back to knitting. How will I start?
Side to side instead of front to back, right? Yeah, you're knitting. I mean, you're going around, but it's like, it's side, like the side of your leg to the side of your leg.
Okay, I got you.
Instead of the front of your foot to the back.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep. Okay, I knit one pair and started the second pair.
Yay!
I normally do not like knitting with the same yarn like 2 projects in a row, but I've been doing that lately. And that's because Ella saw these socks and was like, I want some, and I just happened to have enough left to make that. So for hers, I did a little contrast stripe right after the cuff, and then I'm going to be using this to do, she wants to have 2 stripes on the foot.
Cute.
With this yarn. That's what she wants for hers. So I'm knitting them the same size essentially, because they have the same size foot, and just putting in 2 stripes of yarn there.
Fun.
So I have this much completed. That's all.
I love it. You know, my favorite thing is that as soon as you cast something on, it's now a work in progress.
It is.
It's like, la la, it's a thing.
But
it's
you know
a potential
what?
thing.
I'm not going to really work on these until I finish my husband's socks, because I like to have few projects going to not get overwhelmed at a time. And I still have my sweater, which I didn't bring with me today because I'm still on the sleeve. So I really want to get working on my sweater some more. I'm almost to the second sleeve now.
I do like having a variety of types of projects though.
Yeah.
You know, a pair of socks.
Yes.
I've got this is the shawl. Then I'm going to show you something in a minute. And, you know, so you have different types because they fit different knitting circumstances.
Well, and I always need to have a pair of vanilla socks where I'm just knitting
plain.
Just knitting the plain knitting. So if we go somewhere where I can't
or like a sock head hat or, you know, something like that where it's.
So I always want to have something like
everyday
that on my needles
beanie.
to just grab and go if I'm going to go somewhere where I can't think about it.
Yeah, exactly. That is good.
So if I don't have one, then I will cast one on so I can have it for that time.
That's why as soon as I get to finish the decreases on that sock, it's just going to sit for a little bit because I want to have it for going to a movie with my kids.
Yep. And that's kind of the same thing. Now I've got this point. Now I will go back and work on my sweater. Yeah. And then I'll just use this for when I need that kind of knitting.
Get into your knitting rotation. All right. So I'm so excited for this. I am test knitting.
Oh, yes.
Uh-oh. I dropped this. Hold on. Grab that stitch. Okay. I am test knitting Amy from Taylor S Studios' new sweater pattern that is the Whitmore sweater. I'm trying to figure out the best way to show this to you without any stitches falling off the needles, like that one right there. I am knitting the lacy yoke, and there is the beginning of it. Here, let's turn it this way. Isn't that pretty? Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, I love it here. Yeah, hold that side for me. Thank you.
So this is why I want to finish my sweater.
Oh, it's so pretty. You want to knit
starting
this?
This one.
You are going to knit this one too?
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Yes.
I was going to go dye the yarn for it because I thought I had yarn for it and I was looking, it was the wrong weight. So.
Well, I am so excited. This is I'm knitting this out of my Austin colorway. And I'm knitting it in Classic Sock and Fantasy Fluff, which is my mohair and silk base. And it is so soft.
It's beautiful, beautiful.
And isn't that color just so pretty? I'm so excited about it.
Okay, what are you going to do on the sleeve? Because if you haven't seen the design, go to Taylor Studio.
Yes.
On Instagram.
And she has 2 sleeve options. So one is a typical,
is that what it's called?
It's a bishop sleeve, which is like a sleeve that's quite full and then cinches in at the cuff. So it's kind of very blousey. And then the other one is a traditional tapered sleeve. And I am going to knit the tapered sleeve. That's just more me. I tend, it's just like I don't like to have things up around my neck. I don't like to have anything extra around my arms. Although it's so pretty. It's so pretty. But I am going to knit the tapered sleeve. And I probably will do it. Oh, are you?
Yeah.
That will be so gorgeous on you. So. And I'm probably going to do it at a 3/4 length. But I love this design. I think it's gorgeous. She has put so much work into making sure that it's fit well for a very wide range of sizes, and it's just stunning. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, and then there's different options for the sleeve. And did she give different options for length?
Yes, there are length I think so.
I think.
I'd have to look at it.
Yeah, we were talking about it together, and I don't remember. So
let me look really quick, and I will tell you. because I believe this is going to be
Is that the updated
released.
one?
Yeah, I think this is going to be released for, she's hoping March. Hold on just a second. No, I don't think it is for multiple. Let's see. No, but it could easily be, I mean, you could easily adjust it for length. So, but yeah, it's so pretty. And I love this color. I love this color.
And her pattern design.
It's a beautiful, like the
aesthetics of just the pattern itself is stunning. So
gorgeous.
And it's laid out really easily.
It's charted and written, so it's just fantastic.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So all I want to do is work on this. But, it's the kind of thing where I have to pay attention because I'm in those lace points. And I'm test knitting it, so I want to be really careful to not, miss anything. So I definitely have to pay a lot of attention while I'm working on it. I can't just take it with me to a movie. It's not going to work for something like that. But I am about 2/3 done with the yoke, the lace chart. So that it's just going to zoom too.
Yeah, you're fast at knitting things like that. You're great at that.
What it is I'm obsessive. I mean, I think I'm a pretty fast knitter too, but it's not just the speed of my needles. It's also the quantity of time I spend.
Yeah, I knit for about an hour in the evenings, about once everybody goes to bed. And then if somebody's driving, I'll knit, or if I am in a meeting that it's appropriate for me to knit, then I'll knit then. But that's my knitting time. So, but it's just constant, like consistency. I do it
every day.
Every day, and always take something with me so that if there is an opportunity at a doctor's appointment or something, that I can knit.
I feel like I say this saying to my kids all the time. I say, use your minutes. Because so many times we don't want to start something because we don't have 2 hours to do it. But there's so much that can be done in 15-minute increments, And so my kids will do that. Well, I can't work on my project because I have to leave in a half an hour. I can't work on the school assignment. I'm like, use your minutes.
Yeah. Get started. Just open the project.
Spend 10 minutes. Spend 15 minutes.
Cast on the project. Just
I will fully admit that I don't use my minutes. I mean, just my minutes for knitting. I use minutes and half hours and hours. So
yeah, I'm one, I like to get things done, and I don't give myself permission to go and knit or do some of the other things until I've accomplished all the other things that are supposed to be done, because I feel like I can't enjoy it. It's like, all these other responsibilities are looming in the back of my mind that I can't enjoy it. So that's why it's like, well, I have time while I'm at the doctor's office or whatever. What else am I going to be doing? So then I feel good about that. But I'm not really good at giving myself permission to just enjoy knitting for the sake of enjoying knitting instead of doing the other things that are on the list,
One of my favorite things I started doing about a year ago is I give myself like about an hour every afternoon. So even if I've been have been working all day or whatever, that hour between about like 4:30 to 5:30 when I need to start working on dinner. My husband doesn't get home till like 6:30, and so we try to eat right after he gets home. But that hour before I'm supposed to start dinner, that's my time, and that's the time where I'm like, the kids usually know that mom needs her time.
That's my crunch time. Like, get the stuff done.
I'll rather get up early and work hard so I can early and just run so I can have that time, and that time of day I need it.
Yeah, that would be nice, because the last week I keep thinking, let's just get up and get everything done so I can have time to myself. And then
there's never enough
it's
time.
9:00 at night and I'm exhausted, and I'm like, oh well. Okay.
It's like when we were talking about Christmas knitting, and we were saying, like, if you start your Christmas knitting early, do you ever actually finish it, or do you just do more projects? Do you know what I'm saying? And so for me, I find that's the same thing. If I don't set aside specific time for myself, there's always work to be done. There's always more. There's never going to be a time where you're going to come to the end of it. So I have to set time aside, or else I don't get it. So, all right.
Okay. So for our kindness is like sugar segment today, it's my turn. And I have been thinking about all of the kindnesses that I have witnessed or been a participant of. And I have just felt really blessed with an outpouring of kindness, that it's easy to feel like there's a lot of bad in the world, which there is. But I see how much more of good that there is in people, that people are genuinely good. In general, people are good. And so it's made it hard to figure out what I want to share, because there have been so many wonderful things. So I thought about, how do I feel love? So this is a book that was given to me when I was first married, The 5 Love Languages. And I read this early on in my marriage. And so I have often referenced the different love languages in my children and my spouse and in myself. And so if you're not familiar with the 5 love languages, they're quality time, words of affirmation, acts of service, physical touch, and gifts. So there's 5 in this book. And for me, the number 1 for me is acts of service. Number 2 is words of affirmation, then gifts. And down at the very bottom is actually physical touch, much to my husband's dismay. But he's like, just hold my hand. I'm like, okay, I do love you. I'll try. It's just not the way that I feel and express love. So acts of service is like, if you want me to know that you love me, like, come and wash dishes. Or bring a dinner, something so I don't have to do the work. So that's how I feel love the most. And so this last month in December, I had a lot of yarn dyeing to do, a lot that I needed to do really quickly. And I knew I needed to do it quickly in January, already, but then I had a friend pass away, which actually moved the timeline of how much time I had to dye yarn to like this much. Instead of this much, it was like this long. And so I had a really, really sweet friend that said, I will come over and help you. What do you want me to do? And I thought, for dyeing yarn, I have to make sure that everything is consistent. Like, I can't have, my kids always want to dye yarn with me for the shop, but they can't, because, every colorway has to be done an exact way. And if I was making a whole bunch of the same one all at the same time, that's a different thing. But so I thought, I need to do all of that. But what could she do? She's like, I'll come wash. I'm like, oh, somebody that's going to wash the yarn, rinse the yarn, wash all the pans, keep things cleaned up. She prepped yarn for me. So she would get all the skeins, ready and soaking, and she would spin them and hang them up. All I did was dye the yarn. She did all the other stuff, which is exhausting work. And she did it just joyfully. Like, this is so much fun. And it was such a blessing. And it made it just so lovely. And when I get in the zone of working, like, I'm not a really chit-chatty person. When I'm in the zone, I'm just like, focus and get the work done from A to Z. We just do that. And she didn't seem to be offended by that. She just was there lovely. It just was such a lovely, lovely experience. And so I felt really loved by that. Somebody coming and just saying, I will just come and wash things for you. So she was really good at seeing how, I needed help, and to joyfully do that. And that filled my love bucket up. So that was just something that was really kind.
By the way, Love Bucket would be a great name for a band.
That's
just saying.
So we have a restaurant idea, a concept.
Oh no.
We came up with this years ago because there's a chain called Chuckarama. And then there was the Chuck Wagon years ago,
yes,
out here near us. And we were thinking,
but there's one other one, because there was a white Thai fancy restaurant here years and years ago that was called the Oaken Bucket. And we were saying that if you put the word bucket in a name,
chuck,
it automatically loses class points at a dramatic rate.
Yes. So you put chuck and bucket together. And all of those had chuck or bucket in them.
Plus orama is another one, you know.
So we decided, for real class, the classiest that we could come up with would be Chuck Bucket-orama. So that's our restaurant idea. And we had all sorts of great things to put in there. And anytime you use vat, so vat
or tub,
vat I can't remember what.
Or anything with tater tots,
which I love tater tots. Vienna sausages had to be on that.
So we tried to think of all of the lowest class foods. Now they might be tasty, but they're not ritzy. They're not fancy.
Yeah, Spam had to go on there. So growing up, my dad, they had Spam all the time and he loved it. And then, so I had it growing up and I thought it was great. And my dad for his birthday would get a case of Spam from his mother. And I was like, okay, it's Spam. I mean, like, slice it, throw it in the frying pan. It's great. It's great. And when I got older, I realized, oh, this isn't as high. It's
not actual food.
It's just not the same level that a lot of people are looking for in their dining experience. So... But I grew up eating it all the time, and look how I turned out.
Right. And yeah, you should still eat it too.
So this last year...
Open-faced Spam sandwiches. Those were the best.
Oh.
You chop up Spam, you mix it with a little mayo.
And onion. Grandma put grated onion in it.
Put it on an English muffin.
And
put cheese on top and stick it under the broiler. Yeah.
Tasty.
Or under the grill. If you're in England.
Yes, it was tasty.
Yep, yum.
So we had all sorts of great restaurant ideas. I have been looking for a long time where I had that file listed of all of our menu ideas because
we had quite an extensive.
Good.
It was
pretty good. But anyways, we go off topic here.
You know what? I think that another thing you can do to a food to make it go lower in its class level would be to put it in a tube.
Yeah, but haven't you seen the little droppers that go inside of... I've seen them inside of a lot of things, like a cream puff or a strawberry, and they're filled with like
the pipettes that you like squeeze the sauce or something.
So I've seen that, and then...
I still think that's very medical.
It's become a medical procedure.
No, it does. It looks like a little
And then...
eyedropper thing.
You know, the push pop... things that you can buy that you can put cake and stuff in and you push it up. But when you push it up, then it starts going...
If it makes that sound, it's low class. I'm not saying it's bad because there's a lot of low class stuff that's delicious. I don't know that class is even a thing. But whatever.
We eat a lot of Jell-O here, so...
Jigglers. If it has the word jiggle in it, it's low class. This is a kindness is like sugar. Sorry, I totally derailed that.
We were done with that a while ago. Yeah, I could talk about this for a long time. So what would you include in our classy restaurant, Chuck Bucket-orama? What would be included in there? Yeah. All clean things, please.
Yes, please keep it.
But I'd love to
keep it. Keep it.
What makes something higher class and what makes it low class, in your opinion?
And honestly, you know that we don't care about this, right? Okay.
If it is a casserole, I want it.
Casseroles.
I love casseroles. You know what I love about a casserole is it's all of the food item, like all of the
things you can't eat.
No. Yeah.
All the gluten and the dairy and
all of the food groups in one.
Yes.
So
agreed.
I don't have to make multiple dishes.
Okay.
It's like I don't need a side salad. I don't need it's just one thing.
Okay, let me give you an example because this is what I made the other night to take to a friend who was sick. It is called chicken cordon bleu casserole. Now, chicken cordon bleu,
fancy,
high class. Cordon bleu casserole, low class, but delicious. So it's like chopped up, shredded or cubed chicken and ham. And you make a sauce. This is so church lady. You make a sauce out of cream of chicken soup and Dijon mustard.
The condensed cream of chicken soup.
Condensed, like from a can.
Yeah.
Cream of chicken soup and Dijon mustard that you put, and broccoli. So the chicken, ham, and broccoli mixed in that sauce. Mm-hmm. Sliced Swiss cheese. And then stovetop stuffing prepared on the top.
I used to eat that. It was delicious.
Yum.
Very
It's
good.
so good.
Very good. Very church lady casserole.
It's such
Love
a good
it.
church lady casserole.
I have many of those
I know.
cookbooks, and I miss the food.
It's good. Let's face it, we all want to eat it.
All the cheese, all the fat, all the carbs,
all the stuff from a can.
It's easy.
Stuff from a can. That should
Stuff
go.
from a can. That's going on in the restaurant. Okay, but this also came about. I think we mentioned this. We went on a cruise several years ago, and we were in the. This was on the formal evening. And we were all in our very glamorous get-up.
You were
get-up.
Do you have a picture of you in that dress?
It's
you need to see the
maybe.
picture.
I don't know.
If so, put it in.
But
right here. Okay.
So we go there and we look at the menu. Everything's lovely and elegant, and you get to the vegan option, and it is sweet and sour vegetarian chicken chunks. You just threw chunk in there, and now it is like
low class.
I'm like, did it have to be chunks? Could it just be
portions?
Or just vegetarian sweet and sour? Chicken.
But there's the thing: if you say vegetarian and then you say chicken, then it sounds to me like you're saying that the chickens are vegetarian. Because chicken isn't meat. I mean, yeah. And I get the point anyway.
Yeah. It was just poorly named, and we have laughed about that for a long time. So.
We also have laughed about the waiter on that would always say,
because I needed
gluten-free, dairy-free, fat-free, duty-free, yum yum.
So we say that. Yum yum.
It's duty-free, yum yum.
Okay, we have really gone off course here.
Shop news. So my site is open. I opened on the 11th of January. I was going to open on the 12th, but that was a Sunday. I decided to open on the Saturday. And it has been wonderful. I've been so happy. And I have introduced my new author's line of colorways. So I have 17. It was supposed to be 18, but I forgot to dye one of them. So it will be coming.
So it will be 17. Or it will be 18. It's 17 now.
Author's line of semi-solid colorways. So let me pull some. I have some extra things in here. So let me pull a few things out. So here's some of them. This is not all of them, but here's some of my colorways. And these are all named after authors. So we have Twain, Hemingway, Hugo, Verne, Bronte, Burnett. I love that. Frances Hodgson Burnett, Secret Garden. Dahl, as in Roald Dahl, Tolkien, Montgomery, I'm trying to see Dickens, and L'Amour. So there's some of them. And I love these. They're so fun. For example, these three together are one of my, not that one. I mean, that one's really cute too. But these three, these three together, I love these three together so much. I also really love this one and this one and this one together. Anyway, they're way fun. And there are 17, like I said, colorways. Another one is coming soon. And the fun thing about these is these are always available in my shop. And they're available right now on 5 bases. So you can get them on 2 different fingering weight bases, 2 different DK bases, and a worsted base. And so they're always available. So I am doing some collaborations coming up too with some colorwork designs that these are perfectly suited for, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So that is one of the things that I have introduced, is that author's line. Another one of my favorite things I have offered, I showed my necklaces last time, but here's one of my necklaces. And those are available. They come with the beautiful charms, and they have little heart-shaped stitch markers, and they are just really fun to wear. I've also added my bookmarks, and these are, I call them my bookmark gauges, because they are not only a bookmark, which has a little, let's see if you can see that, little snip of Pride and Prejudice in them. They're really pretty floral on the back. But the bookmark itself is a ruler. It's 10 centimeters, which is the perfect size for a gauge swatch. So they're perfect for measuring your gauge swatches when you are swatching for a sweater or something like that. So those are in there. I have a few sock sets. Right now I have 2 different sock sets. This is Grounds at Pemberley, and this one is called Most Ardently. Isn't that fun? And they are both obviously Pride and Prejudice based. I've already sold out of the one that's called Handsome Enough to Tempt Me, but I will probably be putting it back in again. Handsome Enough to Tempt Me and Grounds at Pemberley are both on my Sci-Fi Sparkle base, which is, let's see if you can see the sparkle. It's a gold sparkle. No, you can never see it on the screen, but
no, it doesn't pick
it's
it
a
up.
gold sparkle for the full skein, and then classic sock for the mini. But this one is just on my classic sock. So I will be getting more of Most Ardently, or this one's Most Ardently, of Handsome Enough to Tempt Me. That one's been really popular and sold out immediately. I also wanted to show you my packaging for my charms because I love them so much. So all of my charms, my necklaces, my bookmark gauges all come in little packages made from pages of books that I am recycling. And let's see, there we go. And they come inside on these little velvet ribbons. And this is my Little Bee Progress Keeper.
That's so
Isn't
pretty.
that fun? And then I've got my Smoky Crystal one, which I love this one. This is the one you keep oohing and awing over.
Yeah, that one's.
There's the Smoky Crystal. It's hard to see them.
Very pretty.
And I also have my Rosy Pearl. And this is a cultured freshwater pearl. And then I wanted to talk specifically about this one. So my Angel Progress Keepers, these are specifically, I am listing these with the goal to raise money for Operation Underground Railroad. We've talked about that quite a bit. I know you've done a fundraiser for them as well, but I'm going to try and keep these in stock always on my site, or as long as I can. And $2 from every one of them goes to Operation Underground Railroad, the organization that we love that helps to fight human trafficking, specifically children that are being trafficked. And they are just amazing, and they are local to us. They work all over the world, but their home base is here in Utah, and we're just so inspired by them. So those are some fun things that I have in my shop. So I also have all my patterns in my shop. My Scrappy Bias shawl, I always get asked about that one. That is in the shop. And all my sock patterns are there. My Good Cheer shawl. So you can go and find any of those there in my shop under the patterns section. All right.
All right, another podcast, number 50. It's in the books.
Yay. Wonderful.
Thanks for coming.
I love podcasting with you.
You know what? We do everything together.
We do.
But it's not often that we just do fun things together.
We do a lot of work together.
We work together a lot. We work together really well. So we do a lot of work together.
In our community
So,
and things like that.
So it's nice for us to have something where we're just doing fun stuff.
Something that we just love like this.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
Thanks, Sam.
Good job.
All right. Well, have a good week. And we love all of your comments. We love to, we don't always reply to all of them, but love them. Thank you so much
We always
for
read them all, yeah.
commenting and for liking and subscribing and sharing with your friends and just being here and watching us. So have a good day.
See you. Bye-bye.